Are you someone who thinks there is no other option in this world other than be great? Are you someone who's self-delusional, dangerously or stupidly delusional, who thinks the only way to live is to be great? You're delusional to the point where you think you're the goat. You think you're the best of all time. You think there is no other option but to be great. You look at every other option in this, every other problems or options in this world, and you think, okay, if I'm great, if I'm gonna be the richest person in the room, or if I'm gonna be the greatest of all time, I wouldn't be facing this problem. If you're someone who's connecting every dots, every insults, or every kind of humiliation or embarrassment, and connecting it to the part of you which thinks being great will solve this. If I was rich, I will solve. If I was strong enough, I will solve this. If I was the greatest singer, I will solve. If I was the greatest wrestler, if I was the greatest fighter, if I was the greatest sportsman, I would have solved this. That means you're traumatized to the point where you confuse greatness with something that's a bare minimum in this world, responsibility. I'm not gonna say that's a bad thing. If that does not resonate with you, you can leave this video. Also, I'm not any kind of guru, or I'm not any kind of instructor, or any kind of self-motivator or anything. I'm just doing these videos for myself. I'm basically talking to myself at this point. So I make journals like this, and before I sleep, so I just sit down and talk about these, like really self-reflect on myself, on what I think, my thoughts, who am I, like I try to make sense of myself every single day. So yeah, this thought has been on my mind for a long time, and if you the things I just mentioned, I faced that. I was the exact person I was talking about. I was the exact person I am talking about. So here's how I overcame that. And I'm not saying that's not a good thing or that's a bad thing. I'm just saying you gotta fix some things to actually become that person. So the greatest example to this scenario is someone called Conor McGregor. He's the greatest UFC fighter you can see. He's like the Michael Jordan of the UFC. He's like the, you know, connect any greatest person. But he's like a UFC fighter. A UFC fighter is who the one who's like fights in the octagon. If you have seen some videos about it, you would have seen him in, Instagram feed or anything. He's like the greatest. He's like the pinnacle. He's like the greatest example of self-belief and self-delusional. A delusional human being. This guy is like, he is delusional. He's imaginate. His imagining power is so great that he imagines something before the fight and it happens. There is one video where he actually goes ahead and speaks to the press, saying that he's gonna break the opponent's gonna leave his other hand, and he basically predicted the fight, and it happened exactly. So how do you get to that point? How do I get to that point? I had a few uh, mixed thoughts about it. So if you're obsessed to the point of success is your only option, if you're obsessed, if you're like crazily obsessed, dangerously obsessed to the point that you want to be rich, being rich will solve all your problems. Yes, it does. I'm not going to say it's not, but the way you're obsessed with it, it has to change, because you're gonna keep obsessing about it. You're gonna sit down and just think, I'm gonna be great, think I'm gonna be great, I'm gonna be. That will not make you great. That's just gonna put you more under the ground. That's gonna bury you. Like, you're not gonna make anything. You need to. That's not gonna let you think in long-term vision. That's gonna put you like, why aren't you rich today? You're gonna wake up the next day and it's gonna be like, why aren't you rich today? Why have you not made any money? What happened to your dream? And it's gonna put you back down to the place where you were before, the zero. So I've read a lot of books. So here's one thing that is basically done by everyone who's at that level. It's called compounding. Yes, it's an old term, but it does work. and a lot of people have used it in their life. So what that is compounding is basically what it actually sounds like. So if you're a finance student or anything, you might know this term, but compounding is something like you're gonna do small tasks of the bigger version of your vision every single day, so that it compounds into a bigger, like it's like drops on a pond. You're gonna draw like pour like drop and drop of every, like little drops of water inside a pot, and it's eventually going to fill up and pour out the outside the pot. I'm going to teach you the same method, but here's how I used it in my life, and I've seen a lot of results. So I'm not going to say I'm a rich person or anything, but I took my life from 0 to 1. I have a greatest family. I have like loving family ever. I have a greatest relationship with myself. I have a moderate relationship with God. I started praying here and there, but I get there. And I started like systemizing my life. So I don't have time to feel that I'm failing. So here's how I did it. You gotta set routines and build habits to make this happen. Look, if your vision is to become the best basketball player in the world, or if your vision is to become the biggest businessman in the world, or own a bigger SaaS company like Facebook or Twitter, or like anything like that, oh, me charge this out again, Facebook or Twitter or anything like that again, you need to chunk that down. What can I do that can get me there? What kind of process should I involve myself with to get me there? So let me just give you an example of this. Let's take the basketball example. So bigger players like Michael Jordan and who's that other player? I love that player. Uh, oh, I forgot basketball player names. Oh my god. Okay, so let's take Michael Jordan. So Michael Jordan become was great because he trained every single day, right? So the thing you're not looking at is his dedication to the craft. So he did it every single day. But how did he do it? He was exactly like us. He was basically exactly like us. He's like he had this crazy delusional self belief that he wanted to be there, but he didn't know how to, like he was striving for it. The only difference between him and us is we are not striving for it. We're just simply sitting down and thinking about it, and like holding ourselves accountable for that to happen. So all you need to do is take your bigger vision, take your biggest goal that you wanted to achieve, put it out there. Just put it out there and forget it. Make a bigger list about it. What you want to do, what you want to be. Put it out there and forget about it. And I want you to take that and chunk it down into smaller pieces, like micro pieces. I want to like micro pieces in the sense you can, the thing you can start doing now. Like if I want to become the best basketball, I gotta put up my shoes and everything and go like shoot some hoops, or try to get like to shoot some hoops, and actually keep accountability of it. So let's get that to the next let's get that in the next section. Okay, so you got to do something every single day. Small things every single day. Tie yourself on doing small things every single day, and have an accountability tracker or some Google sheet, or notes or something. Keep tracking your process every single day. If you're lazy enough, just wake up, look around for a second, and think, what's the next thing I can do that can push me towards my goal? Even if that's a negative thing, or it's a positive thing, if you're in a bad mood or a good mood, practice this every single day. This is gonna take you on top. I started doing this, and I started working out like a few days ago. So here are some videos of me working out, so that it sounds like I started doing something. I'm not gonna talk and not do anything. So since it's built in public, so let me know what you guys think, and yeah, it's um, carry forward tomorrow. See you guys.